Four States' most watched news starts now.
The city of Joplin is taking measures to make its streets safer and brighter. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The city's expanding its streetlight program. The city council is getting an update tonight. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
The more lighting we have, the least likely those things are going to happen.
If you drive down 15th Street in Joplin, you may notice a lack of streetlights. The owner of the Book Guy says 15th Street can become dangerous and hard to see while driving at night.
Our parking lot's really tight, hard to get in and out of, and so when people are flying down here, especially late at night where it's hard to see, that can get a little bit sketchy.
Brownlee also says he's seen crimes take place at his store at night, and he believes streetlights would be a deterrent.
We've had past incidents, both vandalism, attempted theft of an automobile, attempted break-in.
But that could soon change because the city of Joplin is planning to install street lamps all along 15th Street, from Range Line through Main.
Areas were identified through crime analysis, through our police department, as well as just general public safety and infrastructure review processes that just identify where we need streetlights.
This will be added as part of the city's street light program. Other areas they're planning to add streetlights to include South Schifferdecker and Prigmore.
We're always adding new areas as the city grows, and we add new businesses and new areas of the community are developed that need streetlights.
He says the city aims to make sure there are streetlights about 300 feet apart from each other, as long as electricity in that location permits. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The assistant city manager in the areas they've already added streetlights says they've seen a decrease in crime in those places. The city of Joplin will accept feedback on other areas that need streetlights online. Authorities report a particularly disturbing vandalism in Miami, Oklahoma, one targeting American flags. Local veterans on 9/11 honored servicemen and women by placing flags throughout the town. When they went to retrieve those flags after the event, they say they found 15 flags had been vandalized.
If they did one, that's bad. But, you know, for the thoughts to go, and it wasn't just in part of town, they went from one side of town over to the other, so.
City officials are asking anyone with information to call the Miami Police Department. We're going to have more on this story for you tonight on KOAM News at 10. A Newtonia man is in custody for child abuse after a 9-month-old boy was taken to the hospital unconscious. Jordan Bogus is charged with abuse or neglect of a child. According to the Newton County Sheriff's Office, they received a call Saturday about a child who wasn't breathing. EMS took that baby to Freeman in Joplin and later transferred him to Children's Mercy in Kansas City. Court documents reveal Bogus told deputies he tossed the child into the air to try to comfort him. However, he says he didn't catch the boy. Authorities said the man admitted to bear hugging the child until he quit screaming. The court documents reveal the infant has abusive head trauma, but a full diagnosis might take weeks due to the child's critical condition. The suspect is due in court October 1st for a bond hearing. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now for a first look at the weather.
All right, so we still got some partly cloudy skies, just fair weather clouds out there. 7th and Range Line looking pretty good. Temperatures are still in the low 90s, mid 80s. 86 out in Joplin, 88 in Pittsburgh, 94 still in Independence, 93 in Neodesha, but cooler out in the southeast. 76 in Cassville, 79 in Monette. Not so bad out there, but the rest of us are going to continue to warm up over the next couple of days. Now, we've had some clouds in the area, but we stayed dry and we continue to stay dry through most of the week. Temperatures are going to be above average even for our overnight lows, only dropping down to about 70 by midnight and in the mid 60s for our overnight lows. But we do have rain chances in the forecast later on this week and weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
See you soon. Covenant Harvest Church in Pittsburgh breaks ground on a brand new building today. That building, the Covenant Care Collaborative, also known as the C3 building, will expand the ministry's already existing services.
I'm here called the Storehouse, which is a clothing ministry to the poor and needy. And we began to discover through a number of collaborative efforts in the community that clothing pantry needs existed in other charities and agencies in the Pittsburgh community. So that was the vision behind the birthing of what we're calling the C3 building.
The Covenant Harvest Church is at 635 Frontage Road in Pittsburgh. Watered Gardens in Joplin digs into its annual Empty Bowls event. That event, held at the Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop, serves as a way to care for and feed the hungry in the community. From now through Saturday, patrons can pre-order a pottery bowl handcrafted by local artists. Buyers will later enjoy a serving of soup and get to take those bowls home. The money raised goes to help fund efforts to feed the community.
We love to start the event with 1,000 bowls and 1,000 bowl cozies. That really ensures us that we're going to, if we sell out, which we normally do every year, we're going to have a successful event and reach our goals. This is the 12th year for this annual event. Mercy Park in Joplin celebrated a brand new addition to the Rotary Sculpture Garden today with a ribbon cutting ceremony. The latest addition, titled The Shape of a Woman, was sculpted by local artist Aston Stubborn. Stubborn says the design reflects a woman's ability to stand tall and on her own no matter how fast her world is spinning.
We were excited that there was an opportunity to put a sculpture in. Lucky enough to find Aston, who is an old friend of mine. We grew up together, so that's an extra honor for me to be able to have her, but have a woman who's local and was able to create just a beautiful sculpture for us.
The garden now has 30 sculptures on permanent display by 14 renowned artists. The sculpture garden is open to the public during normal park hours from sunrise to 11 p.m. Coming up, some Carthage students learn what it takes to run a coffee shop, and some kids in Arkansas get first-hand experience on what it's like to vote. Some Carthage sixth graders took a special trip to Hatcher's Coffee House today. Students were able to see what it takes to run a coffee service. Now, why is that important, you ask? Well, because the students are part of the Gifted and Talented Education Services, or GATES, and they plan to launch their own coffee business called Brew Crew.
So because they give us so much, they give us an education, and sometimes they put up with our attitude. We came up with this idea, and we all said yes as a class. We were like, this would be perfect because how much hard work they do, and they're always exhausted.
Great attitude, if you ask me. The Brew Crew will officially open shop on September 23rd. A lot of people view voting as a privilege, and if you are 18 or older, you are eligible to vote in November's presidential election, of course. But over the weekend, one community in Arkansas gave some young voices a chance to experience voting, sort of. Abner Sosa has more.
It's for all voters, for all ages, and even young kids who aren't able to read yet but can recognize the cover of their favorite book are able to come in and actually cast a ballot on the actual voting equipment that their parents would use on Election Day.
The Washington County Election Commission partnered with the Fayetteville Public Library to make the election possible. The Director of Elections says it's good practice for showing kids how adults go to polling locations to vote for elected officials. Parents say they appreciate opportunities like this.
As a citizen of a republic, you have a vote, and that's something that's like really special. And so you should take the time to learn the issues and learn the candidates. And so we just try to include them in the process as much as possible.
Kids I talked to say they really liked getting a stylus, a sticker, and getting to vote for their favorite books. A lot of kids say they hope this event comes back to the library.
What were some of the books that you voted for today?
The mouse.
The mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Mr. Seed. Dogman.
Dogman? What is that about?
A dog. And there's a man, but then the man got hurt, and then at the hospital they put the dog on the person's body, and that's Dogman.
Oh, really? Is he like a superhero?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Though it's already election season and the county staff is busy with preparing for November 5th, they say making time for something like this is a priority.
So it's one of those things that, yes, we have a lot of work that we're doing to prepare for the actual election, but we think this is important and we're very passionate about it. And so we all came together and we're here on this Saturday letting all the kids vote.
Price says since this is such a great learning experience, the Election Commission looks forward to bringing this event back in the future. And while it's hard to imagine that far into the future, some of these young kids won't be eligible to vote for president until 2036 or 2040. The time will come. Lindsay returns next with a complete look at your forecast. And a little bit later, the Lions look to make some adjustments to an early football season. Brock Baldridge has those stories and more coming up.
Overall, today was a pretty good day. We had some nice fair weather clouds out there. Now we can go ahead and take a look outside. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. It was a partly cloudy day, but temperatures were starting to warm up. We got into the mid to upper 80s and even low 90s in some areas. So definitely above average. Normally we're seeing temperatures in the lower 80s and even upper 70s, but we see a warming trend over this week. We've got a ridge building in the area, which we'll talk about coming up. But for the most part, mostly got clouds moving in today. You can start to see them shift in. Now, we don't have any rain chances for most of the week, but we're starting to see them pop up later. But until then, it's just going to be hot and even humid. So dew points are getting up to 66, 67, 68. So we're in that sticky to even muggy range out there. It's definitely getting warmer, higher humidity. Not so great for most of the week, but we do have a little break with wind gusts breezing from the east, 20 miles per hour out in Pittsburgh, 28 in Sedan, 29 in Yates Center. So winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour through the rest of the evening. And then they pick back up tomorrow as well. So temperatures are going to continue to increase, but with a nice easterly, southeasterly breeze, it's going to feel maybe a little bit better. Now, humidity stays pretty high though for most of the week, and we even have overnight low temperatures are going to be above average as well. So tonight getting down to mid 60s and even upper 60s in some areas, a few clouds, but above average. Morning, we also have some fog to deal with. We haven't dealt with fog in quite some time, but visibility could be very low starting as early as 6 a.m. So for your morning commute on Tuesday, about half a mile visibility in Aurora and Cassville, about 4 miles visibility in Carl Junction. Not so bad. Independence, about a mile, maybe a mile and a half. It clears out pretty early though, so by about 9 a.m., we're going to be mostly clear, back to normal. Not so bad, but towards the end of the week, after we deal with all the hot temperatures, all the humidity, we're going to get a few showers. It's a pretty chaotic upper level pattern going on right now. So we've got a ridge building in Texas and Oklahoma and even in Arkansas, but then we have two low pressure systems building in the northeast and then another low pressure system right on the east coast. So because of that, we've got a lot of interaction with all of these low pressure and high pressures. Through most of the week, the high pressure builds and we get that warmer air in our area, a southerly breeze and higher humidity. But because we have two low pressure systems just north of us, we're also going to get a few showers in the midst of that high pressure. So this is Thursday evening around 8:30. We've got a nice rain shower stemming from one of the low pressure systems now in Canada, and not a lot of rainfall accumulation, but still going to get some of those showers. That continues through Friday as well. And then as that secondary low pressure system starts to shift into central U.S., we're going to get some actual storms moving into the weekend. Now, rainfall accumulation, not going to be a lot. We're only seeing maybe up to an inch in some areas by the end of the weekend. But overall, we definitely need the rain. Any rain that we can get. Temperatures drop after all of the rain showers as well next weekend and week.
Certainly could use some rain. Thanks, Lindsay. Still ahead, Pitt State football drops down a few spots in the latest coaches poll, and Brock Baldridge reveals this week's winner for our performance of the week. That story and more straight ahead.
Well, Missouri Southern football enters its fourth week of the regular season, but the Lions haven't been able to find any momentum after Saturday night's loss in St. Joe. Missouri Southern is now 0-3 on the season. Lions' schedule lightens up a little bit, but it's another tough task as Southern welcomes in Northwest Missouri State in Joplin this Saturday. The Lions are still looking for win number 1. Here's what head coach Atiba Bradley had to say during the team's weekly press conference.
A little disappointed the way we came out. we weren't ourselves, and it showed up in the first half, and so we got it corrected. I think the variable that we're not putting into the equation is that we face really good football teams. Pitt's a really good football team. Mo West is going to win some games in this league, and so we're not going against any JV squads or anything like that.
We just got to prepare better, you know what I'm saying, and just be more consistent, stacking good plays. You know, we came out pretty strong that second half. I know you guys saw that. So if we could just be more consistent and stack days and make good plays and stop the run, and I think we'll be all right.
Crossing state lines in Pittsburgh, the latest AFCA coaches poll was released this morning, and Pitt State fell down a few spots. Pitt State falls from number 4 to number 10 in the country after the Gorillas lost to Emporia State last Saturday. Pitt State will look to get back in the win column this weekend when the Gorillas hit the road to face Washburn. So here is a look at the top 10 and the rest of the Division II football rankings. Quite the shakeup. Harding remains as number 1 in the country, but Grand Valley State goes to number 2 after Central Missouri lost last weekend. The Mules drop all the way down to number 11. Pittsburgh State now remains as the only team in the MIAA in the top 10. High school softball continues in Missouri. We go to Seneca this afternoon as the Indians host the Bulldogs. Each team is looking to turn their season around. Both teams are in action right now. CJ 5-6 on the season. Meanwhile, Seneca is 2-4. Both highlights from that game tonight at 9 p.m. on Fox 14 and at KOAM News Now at 10. Well, last Friday, we tallied the votes in our KOAMNewsNow.com Insta poll after our press box show on Fox 14, and our performance of the week winner is the Miami Bulldogs, who beat the Veneta Hornets on Friday night by a final score of 41-0. The War Dogs are now 2-1 on the season. Friday night's win puts them above 500. This week, Miami faces Aluga on their home field. Well, that's your look for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 tonight on Fox 14. A Miami veterans group wants answers after those American flags placed around the city from Labor Day to 9/11 were vandalized. Plus, tragic new details come to light about the doomed submersible called the Titan that imploded while diving to the Titanic wreckage. And some retailers are already rolling out their holiday deals. We're going to take a look. Those stories and a lot more, it's all coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Hey, if you're looking for events in the 4 states but you don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. Just scan this QR code, go straight to the events page of our website. Find fun family events in the area anywhere, anytime, KOAMNewsNow.com/events. Here's Lindsay.
Well, temperatures are going to continue to increase tomorrow, getting into the low 90s, upper 80s again. Wednesday, 91, Thursday, and Friday, 93. Now, we're getting those isolated showers and isolated thunderstorms Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, continuing through most of the week. It's a very chaotic upper level flow, so we're getting low chances nearly every day starting this weekend through next week.
Thanks, Lindsay, and thank you for joining us. We're going to see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.